Hi, my name is Amber Kivett, and I'm a certified licensed athletic trainer that specializes in recovery and pain management solutions. Today, I'm here to share with you how the Lifepro Fitness whole body vibration platform can help to decrease the symptoms associated with restless leg syndrome. So restless leg syndrome is also commonly referred to as Willis-Ekbom disease, and it is a neurosensory disorder that affects 10% of the total population, with twice as many women than men, and it typically kicks in at about age 40. There is no specific age though as to what the minimum age or maximum age of so what you experience restless leg syndrome. In fact, I experienced it at the age of 25 and probably recently within the last year. I can tell you that the restless leg syndrome is very uncomfortable. It can provide you with sensations of deep throbbing or Charlie horse or cramps that just don't go away, or it makes you feel like you have to move your legs in order to get relief. And no matter how much you try and relax or rest, your legs just constantly are kind of spasming, throbbing from within. So it's a very uncomfortable disorder. Some doctors are now prescribing muscle relaxers and gabapentin, which have a lot of side effects associated with that. But there are studies that have proven that with the whole body vibration platform, you can actually decrease the symptoms associated with restless leg syndrome. And so how does that work? With the whole body vibration, they're finding that with just your 10-minute treatment, that you can increase the release of a powerful substance in the muscle called nitric oxide. And nitric oxide helps with improving vascular resistance by increasing the blood flow and increasing muscle blood volume, which then allows blood circulation into those tissues into the lower leg, which shuts the spasming down. The other thing that I know that it has done from what I've read in the research studies and just knowing what exercise and the whole body vibration platforms do is the release of dopamine. And so I like to say if you can get on the platform and do a good 10-minute treatment or 10-minute series of whatever program is comfortable for you, you get what's called, as one of my mentors refers to it as the dose. And so what is the dose? The dose is the release of D is dopamine, O is oxytocin, not Oxycontin, but oxytocin, S is serotonin, and E is endorphins. So once you release a dose of all of those, a lot of feel-good factors take place in the body, and the fascia responds very well to that. So 80% of the neuroreceptors that give your brain sensory feedback as to ground force reaction and how your body should respond to movement, whether it's standing in place or whether it's deceleration or whether it's mobilization, walking, whatever you're wanting to look at as far as motion goes. Majority of those little nerve cells only exist on the skin on the bottom of the feet. So with my clients, I try and get them to use as much of the whole body vibration treatment barefoot as possible, because the more that you excite those into the brain, the better the response is total body. A lot of fascial slings start and end in the bottom of the foot. And so to be able to excite those and to release those affects the entire kinetic chain in the whole body. So what I'm going to show with you today is you can pick whatever program you're comfortable with trying on the Lifepro Fitness platform. Today I'm just going to start with a P6 on, I think it's the hover board or the hover platform. I got to double check that, but you'll see it in the background. I saved the Rumble X for another demo, but for today, this is my favorite one to use for restless leg syndromes, but you can use any of them. But I want you to pay close attention to making sure that you're moving your toes and you're moving throughout your whole foot, because we have a lot of muscles that exist in the lower extremity. We have muscles that exist in the foot referred to as intrinsic foot muscles, and then we also have muscles that start up in the lower calf, lower leg, and then they attach into the foot, and those are called extrinsic foot muscles. Either way, there's a lot of structures that go on in the foot. And all those structures are kinetically involved all the way up to our head. So if you can learn how to relieve pressure and how to get blood flowing through all those structures using the whole body vibration platform, it's going to benefit you in so many different ways that you can't use with, in my opinion, medication. But I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you to stop taking a certain medication if you've been told to do so with restless leg syndrome, but I choose not to because I don't want to deal with the side effects associated with that. Since I use the Lifepro fitness platforms, I don't deal with restless legs. So I make sure and get my 10-minute treatment in every day or every couple of days. And then all my clients that have been dealing with restless leg syndrome, they also make sure that they get their 10 minutes of time in. So I'm going to show you how to do some of these exercises, but please feel free to tweak them however you like to make it more comfortable. The most important thing that I found in the studies, make sure that you're not locking your knees out. When you lock your knees out, or you have about a 0-degree bend in the knee, which simply means you barely unlock the knee, a lot of the vibration and acceleration through the platform goes straight up into our head. And so the response of that, specifically as it was tested for restless leg syndrome, is not as positive. So we want to make sure that we keep our knees relaxed, our hips relaxed, and we try and get as mobile in our feet as possible so that you can affect as many muscles and neurosensors as possible in order to give them excitement so it shuts off that pain signal to your lower leg. Okay, so without further ado, I'll show you what you can do. And if you have any questions, you can post under the video or send me a message and I will try and help you out as much as I can. Thank you so much for your time today. So we're gonna start with just, like I said, I'm on P6 on this platform, and I'm just gonna start with just hitting the start button. And I'm starting in between the jogging and the running. I don't like to be feet close together. I like to feel this a lot more throughout my whole body. So the wider I go, the more comfortable I am. And what I want you to try and do, or what I do, is I'm just lifting my toes, okay? So I'm getting as much contact with my foot in the platform as I can, but I'm lifting my toes and I'm spreading my toes. And I'm gonna demonstrate this with my hands if you can't see my feet. So from here, let's squeeze the toes together. Open the toes, squeeze the toes, open the toes, squeeze the toes. And trust me, a lot of you are not gonna be able to do that, and it's okay. It's one of those things you have to work up to, and as you work up to it, you're gonna feel the results much, much greater. So what I want you to try now is with your toes spread, I want you to press those toes into the platform with a great amount of pressure. So making as much contact with the platform as possible. Knees are nice and relaxed, hips are nice and relaxed, but I'm really driving my toes into the platform, pushing hard, okay? And what I want you to do is just do a little bit of a quarter squat and stand, and a little squat and a little stand, as long as this doesn't cause you any pain. None of it should cause you any more pain. So if it causes you any more pain, we want to avoid that. But all I'm doing is trying to affect or excite as many muscles as I can from here down, because restless leg syndrome really doesn't affect you from here up. It's mostly from here down, with the majority of it being down in here, okay? So once you're able to do that, we're gonna lift the toes, press the toes, lift, press, and then what I want you to do right now, really carefully, is just pressing and just barely lift that heel up. Just pressing, barely lift the heel up, and then you're just dropping back down and lifting my toes up, rocking forward, lifting up to the heels, coming back down, lifting toes, pressing toes, lifting up, okay? Just doing that right there is exciting. So many different little sensors on the bottom of my feet, a lot of things in my lower leg, and it's definitely exciting things all the way to about here, okay? And I'm not feeling a whole lot of this up here in my head, so we don't want to feel a lot of jarring above the neck, okay? So from here, we can go a little bit wider, okay? And from here, it's the same thing, just rocking and rolling is what I like to call it, and maybe a little bit of side to side so that you're getting a little bit more from the outside of the legs, okay? And if I have got music going, I kind of like to jam with the music, so kind of just having fun with the music. I don't have any music playing at the moment, so, but I just like to get up here and kind of dance around a little bit. Again, just trying to excite some things. So we're gonna bring feet closer together, and again, we're gonna go super, super far spread with our toes, press, lift, press, lift. Most important thing though, make sure that your knees are not locked, because range of motion in a knee from 0 to -10, which is full knee extension, showed much less results with the studies with restless leg syndrome than if the knees were relaxed. So we've got to make sure that the knees are relaxed. And so I'm going to show you the side profile so you can see what I'm doing here. We're just lifting and pressing. So you don't want to do this sideways. I'm just showing you sideways so that you can see what it looks like. Okay, just lifting, rocking and rolling, and I'm trying to integrate as much of my toe as I can. All right? If you don't have good balance, you can put your hands on your knees, okay? And you can kind of do the same thing, okay? You can even do just 1 foot at a time. If you don't feel comfortable with rocking and rolling both feet at the same time, you can just lift 1 foot at one time and just lift, squeeze the toes, open the toes, squeeze, open. This is kind of a game because it's really challenging to do this, whether you're on the platform or not. So if you want to give it a try, and if you have trouble doing this, if you put marbles on the floor and try and pick marbles up with your toes, your feet will eventually learn how to do this. So it's kind of a fun little game that I do with a lot of my clients, but the key is turning on the ankle and the foot and the lower leg. So if you're not up for doing any of that, you can just stand on here. But just make sure that you're integrating as much of the whole surface of the bottom of the foot as possible, all the way down to the great toe, because we've got several fascial slings, fascial chains that start at the bottom of the great toe and then reattach here above the eyes. So, and that all comes across the back side, so it's all connected. So you want to make sure that we're exciting as much of that as possible to get as much blood flow going as we can in order to decrease those symptoms, okay? So I think that's all I want to share with you today. Hope you enjoy your experience. If you have restless leg syndrome, this is a great natural alternative to drug therapy. But again, I'm not telling you to stop taking your medication for that. I just choose not to because I don't want to process it. I don't want side effects. And this works out perfect for me. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a great day.